What is it about build crafting that just gets my socks? God, I love it. It might be my favorite thing about video games, period. Learning how all the intricate systems of a game work together, or theming your character around a specific idea, or finding that one weird trick that doctors don't want you to know about. It's so much fun. They don't even have to be good. God, I love arbitrary restrictions. A friend and I started a run recently in my second favorite game of all time, Baldur's Gate 3, where we are playing as goblins. And kind of the rules we're working within it is like, you can only use weapons that are like called goblin weapons, like the goblin scimitar or the goblin shortbow, or like named weapons that are used by goblins, like the very heavy great axe. If you haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 before, this is a pretty wild restriction to be putting on it. These weapons, they blow chunks. They're real bad. The only reason that you would ever pick these weapons up in a normal playthrough is if you are going to sell them for gold. I don't think that it's possible to leave the tutorial of the game with a weapon that is worse than one of these. They all suck. You never want to use them, but we are making ourselves use them. And this restriction of locking our weapons to being poop tier has made the build crafting for this run just so much fun. I can't just like bum rush to where I know all the best weapons in the game are, because I'm not allowed to use them. And to be clear, I know where the best armor and wearables are too, but this restriction has gone so far to just shaking up how I would normally play the game. The solutions to encounters were different. I said different things, and I made different allies than I normally would on a regular playthrough. 'Cause, like, I hate being mean in video games. I'm so bad at it. Even when I've been playing as, like, the Dark Urge, I've always redeemed him. I mean, not always, because I've been doing a little thing recently where I go through my favorite games on Steam and 100% their achievements. And in order to do that in Baldur's Gate 3, you gotta do some pretty mean stuff to some people. So I did that, got those endings. Didn't feel good about it. But in a game like Baldur's Gate, that's how you keep it alive. I think that something close to this might be why Skyrim has stuck around for as long as it has. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. The game is good. The game's fun. I think that makes it good. I'm a Skyrim truther. I like the game. But I think that so much of its staying power comes from this idea. There is way too much game to accomplish in a single playthrough. And so much of it, like, doesn't make sense to accomplish in the same playthrough. Like, sure, you could become the Archmage of the College of Winterhold and the Harbinger of the Companions in one playthrough. But why would you? Or rather, why would your character? And that's where you get to build it. If you really love both of those quest lines and you really want your character to do both of them, then you get to justify it. You get to come up with a build that works for both of them. And even if that isn't what you think that you are doing, it kinda is. Your character level isn't gonna just go down when you switch quest lines, and the relevant skills to that quest line aren't gonna just shoot up because you went to college or joined the companions. The enemies in the world are going to be just as hard, and it's up to you to figure out how to compensate for it. And yeah, whatever, Skyrim doesn't really care. You could go through the whole mage's quest with a two-handed sword, or kill everyone in the Silver Hand with magic. Skyrim's gonna let you do that either way, but that's not how I like to play Skyrim. When I'm playing, I like to kinda do each of the quest lines as I feel like they might have been intended. So if I'm gonna do shit with the companions, I'm gonna do it as either like sword and board or with a big ol' two-handed weapon. If I'm joining the college, I'm going to end up doing that as a mage. If I join the Dark Brotherhood, then I'm going to try and get away with all of my kills. I'm not going to just run in and kill them and run out. I want to feel like my character is a part of the world. It's a role-playing game. But jumping back into Baldur's Gate 3, my, hey, count it, second favorite game of all time, we're going to take a second here to eulogize the death of my most recent challenge run. I've been doing these modded solo honor mode playthroughs recently, where like you don't get to take any companions with you, so it's just your one character against the world. Really, I was throwing anything in there that I thought would make the game more fun and harder and interesting without it just getting really, really stupid and difficult. I mean, it's already on honor mode, and I'm playing it as a solo character, so it's still very hard. It was just me and my warlock against the world, and his build became so busted. Like, quite stupid, honestly, the combo of how some of those items worked. He had this necklace on that, like, if anybody came within, any creature at all, came within 9 meters of my character, it would have to make a save, a wisdom save against my spell save DC, and if it failed, it would be hypnotized for 3 turns. Which already busted, but then on top of that, the necklace makes it so that any time you hit a hypnotized creature, you auto-crit them. Which is also busted, but then on top of that, the pick I was holding made it so that anytime I crit a creature, I had a 50% chance of restoring my action, which would be really busted, but because I'm also playing as a warlock, I'm using Eldritch Blast as my action, and so that's multiple hits, so I get multiple of those 50-50 coin flips trying to restore my action, and that's like just his offense. He had this crazy healing factor build going where he was holding a shield that made it so that every time somebody missed him with an attack, he would heal by his charisma modifier, which was crazy because he was a warlock and his AC had been cracked out. God, he was so good. God, I miss him. And then it fell apart. We got to the final fight of Act 2 against the big boss, and he couldn't hold it together. Too many of the incoming attacks were based on saves instead of AC, so he wasn't healing very much. Almost all the enemies in that fight were ranged, so none of them were getting hypnotized, so I wasn't critting very much to get my action back. His build, despite being incredible for what I had played through in the game so far, couldn't hold a candle to that fight. That's a weird way of saying that. It was a tragedy. I had to watch my glorious boy, my beautiful build, slowly lose health until he was gone. I feel like that's funny. Now, it might sound like I'm really bummed about that, and I, to be clear, absolutely am. I would have loved if he went all the way. But it kind of really jazzes me to lose like that, because I thought the rest of the game was going to be a cakewalk, and it showed me just how wrong I was. I had built a build that was really great for crowd control and dealing with lots of enemies. But against one strong single target, it fell apart. And seeing that makes me so badly want to start another run, get into it, and find something that works for all of it. Okay, so I've been playing Peglin for a pretty long time now. My proof, we've got my Peglin maxed out his Crucible already. Recently, actually, pretty proud of that. Down here, my Baldur, up here, my Roundroll are both about halfway there. And then over here, my poor little neglected Spinventor. He's a little behind everybody else, but he's cool. I like him. I think his power-up's pretty nice. But I haven't played the little guy nearly as much. If you haven't played Peglin before, it is a pachinko roguelike deck builder. which is a lot of buzzwords, but basically you play as one of these little guys, and then you start your adventure, and the main gameplay loop kind of looks like you have this pegboard here that you're going to be shooting your little orbs at, and the more pegs you hit on the way down with your orb, the faster it shoots across, and the more damage it does to the enemies coming in. And then you progress through the little world maps, going through random encounters and different fights, and finding cool little loot to build out your build. What the fuck was that, man? In this game gives you so much room for just wildly varied builds. I mean, there are so many orbs in this game. Scrolling behind me right now probably is the wiki that lists them all out for you there. And a bunch of these are like, they say category. Those are categories of orbs. You can click on that and then read another list of a bunch more orbs. All of these orbs have different stats and different special abilities that can make or break a run. It's so much fun. One of my favorite orbs, the Nosforb Atu. Had to practice saying that one. If you can't tell yet, everything in this game is like a pun on balls. And it makes it really hard to talk about, but it's a great game. So many balls. This orb, the Nosforb Atu, deals like really big damage to you whenever you use it, but then it heals you for the number of pegs you've hit, and then damages all the enemies by that same amount. And so, like, it's super high risk, high reward. It can heal, basically, if you build it right. It combos super well with spinnies and ma circle. These ball puns. Basically, though, if you've built it out right, then every time you shoot that orb, you're back at full health. And if you're dealing good enough damage, you can clear out the entire row of whatever's there. It rocks. It's so much fun, but the risk becomes that if your health is lower than the orb's damage when you draw it, then you just insta-die and your run's over. It's so good. I love this game. Another orb I like a lot is the Orb Oros, which has this, like... Please don't fall. Another orb I like a lot is the Orb Oros, which has this, like, echo effect. So whenever you shoot it, added onto your damage is a % of whatever your last shot was. And so you can combo that so much. There's a power-up you can get in the game that makes, like, all of the little chutes at the bottom of the board have multipliers on them, and a few of them are ×2. And so if you get good damage on your Orb Oros and you don't have any other orbs, you can just keep shooting it into the ×2 multiplier without even, you don't even have to hit any pegs. And it basically turns your damage output into an exponential curve. I'm gonna look, I hope I can find this picture from when I got that build to work really well, where I got just the stupidest damage number of all time. I think it was like tens of thousands of damage in one shot with that orb, which is like vastly more health than anything in the game has, even the bosses in like the third world. It was ridiculous. God, I love numbers. Okay, so Megabonk is a game that I had only actually started playing fairly recently. I'd heard good things about it. It seemed like the kind of game I would enjoy, but I hadn't pulled the trigger on it until I started learning to make my own games. And I figured, wow, I should really go out and play more indie games, huh? And so I picked up Megabonk, and I love it. It's so much fun. It's very much a, like, number go up game. Kind of. I don't know if that probably has, like, a more specific meaning than how I'm using it. But to me, it's very much a number go up game. Because I like watching the number go up. Something that I've really enjoyed about the game has been the progression system in it. I love that it's all achievement-based, that you have to like accomplish this very specific goal in it with a specific character doing a specific thing, and then it gives you more content to play with. There are so many different weapons and different tomes and different characters and power-ups that you get to mess around with in this game. My favorite build in it recently has been doing a armor lifesteal combo on Vlad, my homie. Love Vlad. If you stack up your armor and your lifesteal and then you get some kind of AoE attack that has a really high hit rate, you basically just become invincible to anything that's not a boss and hitting for massive damage. It gets to the point where if you're not getting one shot, you are not dying. It's so much fun. You just become immune to all of the smaller enemies in the game. Even like during the final storm. Even during the final swarm, I think that, God, what was it, like 6 minutes my character lasted during it, which is like stupid because at that point there are so many enemies spawning that you're not even playing the game. You're just sitting back and watching and waiting for them to finally manage to kill your character. But it's still kind of sick to watch. It's so cool to see how far your build can truly go in this game. Learning about how all of the different elements of the game fit together and can combo makes it so rewarding to come up with your own builds organically. Even if the build doesn't do that well, like the build that I'm talking about right now works super well against the ads, but the damage output is not nearly high enough to really kill any bosses very well. So it needs some tweaking. We're getting there. But I like the base of it so far. And it's something that I found and discovered and made, and that makes it really special. It took me a long time to figure out what I love in video games, but I think that this idea of build crafting is a through line that I've been seeing in almost everything I've been playing recently. It connects the games in my library beyond genre and even beyond platform. I'm counting like my iPad baby games too. That's where I play Peglin. But all of these games give you choices in how you build and play your character that I would call build crafting. Icarus, Soda Crisis, Peglin, Valheim, Skyrim, Fallout, Baldur's Gate 3, Regions of Ruin, even Spore, I think, kind of fits into this. All of these games give you so much variety in how you can build and play your character that you can make every single playthrough feel like a different game if you let yourself make different choices. And that's where it can get kind of hard, I think. You have to make yourself make different choices. You have to physically push yourself away from what you already know works and try something new. And that can be a little scary. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. You're sitting at your desk playing video games. I don't know that scary is really the right word. But climbing up the walls of the ruts that you have carved every time you've let yourself be a stealth archer, or cast Eldritch Blast, or used an at-gear instead of learning to dodge, it's hard. But every time you do it, you get a little better at it, and you unlock so much more of a game that you love. Thanks. Bye. Was that good? Did that make sense?